Robert McLean Wilson, Rhona Cameron, and Scott Thompson. Do you know who he is? Because he's the foreign person.
Yes, I do.
I can say that because
I used to watch Kids in the Hall.
And
of course,
Larry Sanders.
Well,
I love that show.
I thought I would be a completely unknown.
we were going to make you do lines from some of the shows you've been in, so people would know what you do.
Oh, okay.
No, but you're Hank's assistant.
Yeah.
And are you of the heterosexual persuasion?
No, I'm gay. The character's gay.
Right.
And I'm a
decided
Canadian
that?
character, which is even more
A
radical.
gay homosexual?
Yeah, gay homosexual.
How many of them are there?
Not many.
Really, that must be such a rare thing, because they're all woodchucks and mounties and guy things. Mm-hmm. Did they spit at you when you were a child?
Who?
The Canadians.
The Canadians? Yeah, no.
Because they're very lumberjacky.
Very much so, yeah.
I mean, were you tortured as a small child?
Well, of course, yes.
Oh, that's where I'm going. Let's cut to the quick. How were you tortured?
I had 5 brothers, so, you know, a lot of
Male abuse.
A lot of games, a lot of tying up and mock war games and stuff, and locking each other in. Like, have we started? We haven't started, have we?
No, we never start.
Okay.
Yeah, we have started.
5 brothers.
You know, they don't get the subtlety in Canada. Like
They have
here,
Catholics in
action.
Canada, obviously.
have you got lots of brothers and sisters?
Yeah. 5. Yeah.
So you're the same.
Yeah. Well, no,
you're
4
pretty
brothers,
much,
1
You're
sister.
both pretty much indistinguishable.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except he wrote Eureka Street and you didn't.
No,
Which is,
but I wrote a book too.
I know you did. Oh, see? The ego. You can tell he's an actor. Me too. Me too. And she hasn't written one.
I'm writing one.
All right, get it together and then come back. Anyway, let's start on you. You're on now, okay?
Are we?
You're on. Can you see my signal? Yeah, so perk up. Don't save it, because suddenly you won't be on, and then you'll kill yourself.
Okay.
You did Larry Sanders.
I know.
I'm so excited.
I was very lucky.
His smile is the ugliest
But I
thing I've
find-
ever
Isn't
seen.
he?
It's
But
just
I find him
unbelievable.
Truly the
so
most
sexy.
physically unattractive man ever on
I find him
TV.
so sexy.
You
I
do?
find Gary Shandling so attractive.
But is he a disturbed person?
Gary?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In what way? Just be more specific.
I think
then
he's
I'll be happy.
disturbed because he's congenitally unable to be happy, and
Yeah.
you find that really attractive.
No, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, and you know he's got that. What's that disease? Anhedonia. You know that capacity, the inability to feel happiness, and
He has it? It's like official?
I don't know if it's official, but I think that's true with him.
But it must have been really strange to have these massive Hollywood celebrities on the show, and it's imitating the life.
It was always
show business.
weirder
It's just
off than it
very
was.
weird.
Oh, I bet.
Burt Reynolds, shocking, shocking behavior.
In what way?
He threw a clod of dirt at a young PA because he didn't give him enough vodka. I shouldn't even be
Clod of
saying
dirt.
these
No, go
things.
please. Come.
But I know that
I
that at the end of the year they voted him as the worst guest ever. So, and that was sad. And he's had a lot of surgery, so his sideburns start back here and quite. And you know, men when they get
He was
facelift,
gorgeous when he was younger. Gorgeous.
it's unbelievable.
You know, I think they can't get... Well, actually, I met Bert, and I
He
found
has
him
strange
totally
face.
charming.
Did you?
So, I heard that... Well, I didn't hear. I read that you used to dress up as Aunt Jemima.
Oh my God! Yeah, I did. That was my first drag.
And what was the look of Aunt Jemima that you were trying to emulate?
Just the black face and the big tits.
Yeah.
I like that, and I like the gingham.
Gingham was adorable.
I had a gingham fetish, and
Yeah.
so I wanted to be. I wanted to be like a powerful black woman. So
You didn't pick Angela Davis. It had to be Aunt Jemima
No,
of the maple syrup front.
no, I chose Aunt Jemima.
And who was the next person you emulated?
Louise Lasser.
In?
Mary Hartman.
That's hard to dress like that.
Yeah, I just had the red pigtails, and again the big breasts. It was all about the big breasts.
And why, you want them, or you know,
No,
because
no,
most
not
men
at all.
desire to feel them on another person rather than their own self.
Gay,
Yeah.
What?
gay men have breast fixations.
Yes, I
They're
think that's
totally,
true.
totally fascinated by breasts.
Because?
They have breast envy, like, you know, lots of women have penis envy.
Well, I
they
don't
have
think
breast
it's true.
envy,
Yeah. Or like
Do you have penis
even
envy?
vagina
Oh, yeah,
envy,
it's
I
terrible.
think. But
Do you? Don't try to be funny. You're supposed to be the straight
sorry,
one here.
sorry,
No,
sorry.
do you?
Yeah, but in a deep, straight kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
In a poetic, dark
Yeah.
Belfast kind of way.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I know, just play your part.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. You can switch
I'll
roles.
brew.
All right,
Yeah,
now let's
maybe.
go to you. We got to settle a little bit, and then I have to bring the show down, like like a
Okay, rein
bucking
it in.
bronco. You were just in Mickey Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
And that hasn't opened here, has it?
I don't think so. Has it?
We wouldn't know.
No.
I think it's just, I
Oh,
think it has.
yes.
Well, you probably.
And what's it about?
It's
about Hugh Grant.
It's about Hugh Grant, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about Hugh Grant in America. Fish Out of Water, another one of those Hugh Grant movies.
And does he do this a lot?
Yeah, he does a lot of floppy hair acting.
And did you get on with him?
Very much so. He was very funny, and he was kind of obsessed with my sex life, and
In what way?
well, he was just always asking me, what I did in bed, and
Gay questions.
yes, a lot of gay questions, like who was on top and all that stuff. And then one time we were doing a scene, and I had to climb into the ambulance after him, and my face was right at his bum. And he said, "Oh, you're going to rim me, aren't you?" And I said, "No, I'm not. And how do you know what that is?" And
But he's more stuttering.
yes, he did. Rim. He said, yeah, rim me. And he searched for the word. And then he
Rim me.
said, rim. And as
What
if
do you
he'd
think it is
snatched it out of
about,
the air.
the public school boy that's so obsessed with that kind of region?
I think so. I think he wanted to return to his public school background or
And-
something. And then I said, "Oh, if I rim you, will you cane me?" And then we got on so famously.
But did you have an urge to have Liz Hurley at all? I mean, you seem
Well,
very
she did.
attractive.
She's very sexy,
Yes,
very,
and I think
very beautiful.
I think she pushed my bi-curious button. And ever since, I've kind of been, I haven't done it yet, but
You're thinking about it?
Yes, I am, very much so.
In
And-
what way? How does it solidify there in the old Aunt Jemima head?
I don't know, it'd probably be first with like a sexy couple. Like
Oh,
a
both.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then
you wean your way off like with a
weaning.
pit bull.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd wean my way with the man, and then the next
I'll
time.
explain the pit bull, excuse me. It's, when you're training a pit bull to kill, you wave meat in front of it and then remove the meat and they just go to the leg. So, because I saw people go, what does she
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
So weaning your
So it'd
way.
be like Liz would she'd hold Hugh in front of me.
Yes.
And then once I'd done that, she'd throw Hugh away, and
Right.
then I'd just be with Liz.
Right. Did you feel like you grew up in a normal home?
No, I felt that we were very, very weird, even though I don't think we really were, but no. Did you?
No.
I'm trying to turn
No,
around.
I know, no. Mine was, I said before, it was like the Addams Family, with no laughs.
No, I thought that my home was I thought that I lived in a hell house, and in order to get attention, you had to be funny, and everybody was funny, and the funniest person got like a second helping and stuff. So
Really?
You
So
wanted
you had
dessert,
to-
you had to be hilarious.
Wow.
And then every day was basically, at the end of the day, at the evening meal, you trashed everybody that you'd met during the day. And whoever was the evilest got dessert. My father loved it. He loved us to just take everybody apart.
The sadistic bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was he sadistic?
Very. Yes.
Personally to the kids?
I've stopped crunching my cheese straw now.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff you do is really based on fury. Do you know what I mean? So I was just trying to find the root of where the fury.
You lied to me. You said you didn't know anything I did.
I know everything. I did lie to you. What about you? You had brothers and sisters?
Yeah. Lots of.
Lots of? How many did you have?
I had 4 brothers and 2 sisters at one point, but one died.
4 brothers
Yeah.
and 2 sisters.
Yeah.
And there was no dad. You didn't have a father, or you knew a
Not
father?
really. We had a Mr. Wilson, who gave some of us his name.
Mr. Wilson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my name, Wilson.
So did all the kids have like different dads?
I don't know. I wasn't around, so.
Right. You can't say. I mean, you must know
I
if
don't
you're
know.
related
My
by
mother was a
blood
very
to-
good-looking woman.
Really?
And, yeah.
If you're growing up in a neighborhood where, you go outside and there's serious violence, I mean, do you assume that that's the world?
No, we saw it on TV, so we knew what was going on.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So you knew it was just where
Yeah.
you were.
Yeah. But it was interesting seeing it on television. It was odd because you would see your street, and all provincial cities have this thing about anything that is local is somehow diminished. You have this thing when you're a kid. Real life happens elsewhere. It happens in Dublin or London. So seeing our estate on TV was making it like the High Chaparral or something like that. It was kind of weird. And it made it an oddly
Was it exciting?
glamorous place. Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
yeah, for a kid, it is exciting, isn't it?
And there were lots of men in big caps with big guns.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, my
who
dad
were
always
nice.
said when he escaped the Nazis, it was, you know, it wasn't registering as fear. It was registering as excitement.
What age
Yeah.
was it?
He was young, you know.
It's hard to instruct children to hate people.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of instructed to hate the British, which was complicated because all the television we saw, all the newspapers and books
Right.
we saw were British. All the football teams we were supported were definitely British because Northern Irish football was so fucking crap. And the entire weight of the culture was so English, and yet we were told, you know, David Niven is bad. You've got to hate him. He's wrong.
Not
and wicked.
David Niven.
Especially
Everyone but
David Niven.
Like, your mom threw you out of the house when you got a Protestant girlfriend? Like, what age are we now?
Yeah, that I was 16 when that happened.
So
yeah.
the good news is you were attractive enough to have a girlfriend. The bad
Yeah,
news is,
well.
yeah.
That
And your
seems
mom.
so silly.
It is. It's
like
embarrassing.
Protestant Catholic,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like retarded.
Try explaining it in Denmark. They do not understand. They don't have a working class anymore. You know,
So
it's
did she like say out at 16 out of the house?
Yeah, yeah. She made it clear I wasn't to stay.
Or dump the girl? If you would have dumped her, would she have let you in?
Yeah, maybe.
But
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you move in with your Protestant whore?
No, unfortunately I didn't, because she was a kid as well. We were children, you know. So
So where did you go?
I went out with
Such a gay
Protestant
thing to
girls
say,
because I thought
Scott.
they would have sex, and because people told me, and that was wrong. They
No,
didn't.
it's the Jewish girls that would have had the sex.
I couldn't find it.
They were right to
They're
tell
not
you
going
it
up to
is
the
wrong.
barricade.
Yeah, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
it's such
They're
a
at the
fucking
hygienist.
So
disgrace.
wrong.
What about Jews in Northern Ireland? I mean, did they hate Jews? I mean, I'm just curious. Are there Jews in
There's no
Northern Ireland?
time. There's no
They
time.
only
to-
have a
Too
certain
busy?
modicum of hate. They
what
can't
about-
spread it around.
What about blacks in Northern Ireland?
We don't have many
But there must be some.
Afro-Caribbeans. We have Asians and
Afro-Caribbeans, I love
Chinese.
that.
And Asians get no grief at all because we're
They're
too busy.
busy. They're busy.
But
Also-
now that things are getting better, are they moving on to hating
No,
Asians
no.
and blacks?
You're making a very basic mistake about
so naive.
racism.
You're
yeah.
such a Canadian.
I'm
Aren't
sorry.
I want everyone to get along.
Racism against people of color is just too easy for us. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
pathetic.
It's
It's not
too
a challenge.
obvious.
Yeah, we are racist against a bunch of people who are the same color, who look the same, live in the same place, speak the same language, and that's really hard. You know, you got to
That
get
takes
up
a lot of
really
work.
Can
early
you spot
in the
each
morning.
other, or am I very naive? I mean,
Yeah.
can you like smell a Protestant?
Well, to be serious for a moment,
Uh-huh.
Ruby, assumptions like that are just so crass and fascistic. Although Protestants can't dance.
Are you being serious when you
Yeah.
said that to Ruby?
No.
Or were you being funny?
It's funny. So you became homeless at when you were 16?
I did, yeah. I mean, I wasn't homeless for very long, and
Right.
it was in periods. I would find a place to live, like in those films about New York, with the bare bulb in a really shitty room, and that would last for a few months, and then I'd lose it.
Did you sleep on the street? Drunk
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something?
Though mostly I slept in the grounds of Belfast Castle, which was quite sylvan and elegant. But
Were there
cold.
other people there?
Well, was the great thing in the 80s about being homeless in a provincial city. It hadn't filled up the way
It hadn't
London
caught
came
on.
to. It wasn't so fashionable. There wasn't an industry.
Did you hustle?
No, and I didn't beg either. And the other thing about London
Did
is
you have
that-
your morals about being a street person? I mean, did you
Well,
have
it was, I thought it was temporary. I was 17, 16, so I was really so happy. I was so good at being 17. I mean, I had an erection for a year. It didn't go away.
And you didn't hustle.
And I didn't have to hustle.
Were
You
you-
know, I was full of
I don't
juice.
buy it.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, but full of juice and cold is a different ballpark.
Full of juice and cold was okay, because I was 17. People think of homelessness as sleeping on the pavement. It's kind of weird, because most people who are homeless, actually, they have access to somewhere for a while, or they squat, or it's
Or you have soup kitchens.
you can't really sleep there. I mean, that doesn't help.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But do you get into degradation in a Genet kind of way? You know what I mean? Do you get like, this is bad, let's see if somebody urinates on me?
No, because I always had this fantasy I was going to be rescued by some kind of late 30s kind of woman with a lovely house and a big car who would come and find me and say,
So you lay in the street
"You're going to be
with your
novelist
toes
of the
pointed,
future."
saying park here?
It never happened.
But then some guy came, this is pretty good. Well, or you said, I want to sit the exams for Cambridge.
Why?
And he did, Blanche. And he got into Cambridge, which is an unusual approach.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you're suddenly, I love that, also that image in the book, which is like from Syria Street to the spires of Cambridge.
Yeah, it was a bit of a jaunt.
Yeah.
And when I went there, I thought, I saw these kids, public school kids, as you've been talking about, and I thought they looked really young. They looked like children. And I thought, I'm much more mature than them. And unfortunately, that stopped me developing. They all kind of grew up, and I stayed the same.
Because you had an arrogance? Like you
I was an
knew
idiot.
more? Because you were an idiot.
Basically.
Did you graduate from Cambridge?
No, I left because I didn't need a degree to be a novelist. Apparently you don't, so
No.
that was okay.
Aren't you lucky that you can write? Because what would have happened to you? I mean, what would you have been?
I don't know. No, I was lucky I got to university. That saved everything, I think. And also it was important to leave Northern Ireland at that point.
I hate
think I love
hate
it.
all the Irish crap. I'm tired of it. And I think the Irish problem
Come on,
is
I'm just
ridiculous.
joking. Just so that they get a clearer view.
I
You
do.
let yourself go, Scott.
No, he's
I think it's
right.
embarrassing
What-
and
what is it? Could you
stupid.
be more
And I
specific
hate
about the
Americans
crap?
and their search for identity and all this
No, I
Irish
hate that too
crap.
when they go and get their, Mick Schwartz's tart
Yeah.
for, and they strip
I
off.
And the
Kids.
Kennedys, they can all
For
fucking
2 weeks,
perish.
and I only sold
They're all
kilts to
retarded.
Americans.
Where were you selling kilts in
In
Ireland?
Musbros, in London.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
True.
So I love that thing
Scotland
they
would
do.
be cool.
Well, you love it because we paid you.
Yeah, and they were all called Kasperwitz, and they would say, I'm in the McDougall clan, and I go, yeah, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
nobody
check out.
wants to be a Jew. You know what I mean? Suddenly they all want to be Scots. They don't
Oh,
know.
I've always
like,
wanted
Jews all
Me
want to be
too.
Italians.
All my life.
Like in
Oh,
Mickey Blue
stop.
Eyes, James
Oh,
Caan.
God.
always felt
Not
that was.
Italian,
Me too.
Jewish. Did you know that?
Who?
James Caan is not Italian. He's like an epitome of like, Italian American. He's Jewish. Billy Crystal analyzed this. He's Jewish. It's like American Jews. This is another topic altogether. But I think they reach towards Italians for their balls. Because Jewish men, I think, have a masculinity crisis. I don't know where this came from. But I really do believe that they go to like Italian men for their balls.
Isn't that
and they're
amazing?
machismo.
I'm really proud to have a show that we've switched from IRA to Jews going to Italians for their balls within seconds. They'll never believe how
Seamlessly.
quickly we made that turnaround. I just want to say to people watching, this is real time, okay? We didn't do any cuts here. We really went from there to there that quickly.
It is, of course, always about exclusion.
I
You
can't-
define yourself by
yeah.
what you know.
I can't bear the nationalism in Scotland.
Yep.
I can't bear
There
it
are
at all.
souls,
I
like
just
all
feel like it
nationalists.
really holds their whole development back culturally and in a place in the world. I can't get into it. I've never felt a part of it really, ever. I've always actually wanted to be American.
Oh, yeah, because we're not
guys
split
don't
up at
want-
all.
I just,
Yeah.
But the Irish stuff is bullshit. I'm
Well,
so glad that someone has the
Riverdance,
courage from...
Please.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed by it all.
But
I
your
could
day
care
has
less.
come in a way. I mean, you're in a great seedbed here of Irishness. You know, the whole world is suddenly they get dewy-eyed in one way or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so brilliant in this book, and it was in the thing last night where the guy Chucky makes a fortune. Please, I don't want to ruin it. Selling the he has the kids collect twigs.
Oh, yeah, he has scams, Irish scams. He sells...
And they're like Irish twigs.
Wait, listen.
No, he dips twigs in varnish and sells them to Americans
As-
leprechaun shillelaghs, leprechaun walking sticks.
And they buy them too.
And so rich.
Listen, in America,
Was
that
this
would
guy
work.
based on somebody, Chucky? Is it?
Yeah, he's based on me, really. Yeah.
But Chucky's
I have
lucky.
a fat Protestant deep inside me trying to get out.
you know how everyone.
But Chucky's lucky. I mean, that's the thing. It's the
Yeah.
kind of using
He's
the
dynamic.
bullshit of
Yeah.
your it's knowing the lingo and then playing on it and turning it into cash.
Absolutely, and I wrote 2 books about lonely men who didn't talk to anyone.
And do you think you got away with something?
No, but it was kind of, I wanted to write a book about a city and I wanted someone dynamic. And so I wrote this character that I kind of like.
Chucky.
Yeah, much more than anything else I've written. He makes things happen. And also it was really enjoyable writing about someone fat, curiously, in
Yeah.
a really weird way.
It's really liberating because
Yeah.
he's not there because he's the Mickey O'Rourke one.
Exactly,
Who's the
yeah.
beauty, which you would think is the hero of the thing. You know, he's really charismatic. It's like him and Diner.
Right.
Better written. You know, and gets, no woman is interested in him. And yet the fat guy gets this American,
The beautiful American.
beautiful
Well, he's a
American.
fat Elvis. He's just full of fat boy
There's
charisma.
nothing wrong with the fat Elvis.
Yeah, fat boy charisma is a very special thing. I've always admired fat boy charisma.
Can I ask Robert a question? You know how
Better be
everyone.
good.
It's
go.
You know how everyone outside, Celtic culture thinks that we're all very similar, the Scots and the
Yeah.
Irish. Do you think that
Well,
we are
unfortunately,
similar?
we are. Northern Ireland, Scotland is more similar than Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland.
In what
I'm
way?
called Robert Wilson. I mean, that's so
But in what way
Scottish.
do you think we're in a kind of behavioural way? You know, in our kind
Well,
of
we're-
outlook.
Yeah, I would do what. All generalizations about nationalities are, of course, complete nonsense. Though that doesn't
I
stop
don't
them
agree
being
with that.
enjoyable. they're still good fun.
They are fun.
We're kind of dour and funny and grim and kind of...
What about that terrible
Proletarian.
cliche of
Drink
we're
a lot?
friendlier? What about the cliche of we're friendlier, we're more open, we're
All
more... You know, we can
nations.
drink a pint of Guinness and write a poem.
all
throw up
all
on your
nations
foot.
that have internecine strife, all nations that kill each other are always alcohol friendly. So the Irish are extremely friendly. They're promiscuously friendly, but behave to each other with incredible savagery. Ireland is the
Same
only...
with Thailand.
They sound like fags.
Healthy.
It's like Hitler. I always thought before I saw pictures of him, he must be a blonde. You know what I mean? And because he was brunette. Well, I thought then the Aryan thing was all about being blonde, and then I read he's a brunette. I don't get it.
They always hate their own. He was also rumored, Schickelgruber, that he was slightly Jewish.
But that's not true either. That's another
That's
myth.
Well,
He
my-
also had 2 balls. He wasn't Jewish. He did
I'm so glad
have
we
sex
flew
with his
you over
niece.
from Canada.
Those are all
so many
myths.
things are coming to us today.
They're all myths.
How do you know these things? How do people know what things are
Well, he's in
myths?
Canada. What else do they have to
We
talk
have so
about?
much time to read. We have so much time to explode
You're
myths.
so sure.
Do you use the Queen as a target in
What
your
an
act?
yeah, I'm obsessed with the Queen, and I play her. She's one of my major characters. But I don't know why that's got to do with anything. But
No, just because you need to pick on something that could be a cliche, and yet are you coming at it from another angle?
Queen.
What's your obsession with the Queen?
oh, I'm obsessed with the Queen because my family looks like the royal family, and my father's a dead ringer for Elizabeth. And so my parents are 5th generation Canadian, and yet they had a picture of the royal family in the foyer that was bigger than ours. There was the royal family and then our little picture, a little snap. And so my mother was with all these women behind a snow fence, and then the
Snow fence. Translate?
oh, snow fence is like a
Snow goose?
it's like a fence that you put up in the winter to keep snow from drifting, and it's
Some
like
of
a
us worked that out.
temporary fence. Yeah,
Sorry.
fence.
You don't
And
stop
all the women were
watching us.
behind with their gay children, each one clutching their gay son. And then when Elizabeth, well, they all, I mean, what little boy is going to beg to be taken to see the Queen?
Oh, please, can I see the
Really?
Queen?
Yeah, really. Please, Mommy, I want to go. I must go. I must see Elizabeth Windsor. Regina. And I said it in Latin. And the moment that Elizabeth and Philip got out of the motorcade, my mother broke through, and all the women went screaming towards her, and they had to be beaten back by Mounties.
No.
And it's one of my my favorite
Fabulous.
image of my mother trying to get at, and the Mounties pushing her and trying to get her away.
On
Like
horseback?
watching the Mounties beating.
On horseback? Were they?
Yeah, of course.
Who else are you obsessed with?
Oh, I know this is a perfect segue.
Do you know?
Yes, Imelda Marcos.
Oh, I wasn't even going there.
Oh, I thought you were because we both have met her.
We both met. We
Yeah.
both can name drop that one. Why are
Yeah.
you obsessed with her?
Because I always loved like ruthless women when I was young.
Because you're a homosexual.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, it's natural. And you know, some men like tragic women. I liked ruthless women.
I kind of like ruthless women.
Yeah,
You don't write about them, though.
I will.
Okay.
you should.
What was your conversation with Imelda when?
Well, I went to the Philippines with a friend of mine posing as a journalist 6 years ago.
Only to meet Imelda.
And we told this Canadian magazine that we would, if we got an interview with Imelda Marcos, would they pay for our trip? And they said yes, thinking it's ridiculous. So we went there, and we posed as journalists, and we got an interview with her. And it was after she'd returned and all that, and she was trying to bring the body back from Hawaii.
Before she refrigerated
The
it.
body.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ferdinand. And there was only one stipulation, that you could not mention Ferdinand's body. And except to say he had a fabulous body. And so we got brought in to meet Imelda Marcos, and we were waiting a long time. And the whole time we just kept hearing somebody singing Ave Maria in the background. And it was kind of mad because we were in this huge room, and the whole room was just dominated by oil paintings.
Yes.
And they're like paintings of her as angels
Oh, no, okay.
and saints and
She
stuff.
sold those.
You know, like as an angel leading the Filipinos to heaven and stuff. And then I'm hearing this woman singing Ave Maria. Later on, I realized it's Imelda singing Ave Maria. And it was quite a surreal day. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the room, she appeared. She swept across the room, and what I remember, I don't know if you noticed this, the way she moved. She fluttered her hands.
Well,
like
she was a dancer.
Yeah, she fluttered her hands like she was in the shallow end of a pool as she moved across.
And
Maybe
you
that
said
was
to
because
her,
she was a loony.
Well, she is a loony, yeah, definitely.
that might help.
And then we talked about things, and she was bizarre because I'm Canadian, and the first thing she said was, Pierre Trudeau. You know Pierre Trudeau? And I'm like, no, I don't know Pierre Trudeau. And then she said, Brian Mulroney, who was the prime minister. No, I don't know Brian. And I didn't know what to talk to her about. So for some reason, I started talking about the fish situation in Newfoundland and how there were no more cod and that we'd overfished the cod. I don't know why. It was in my mind.
Yeah.
I was very worried about the Grand Banks and the environment. And I said, well, did you know, Imelda, that there's no more cod off Newfoundland and the fishermen have no more cod? And she got very sad. And she looked up to the sky and she went, no more cod. And like she filled with tears, no more cod. And I thought she was going to cry, and I had to like, it's okay, ma'am.
There'll be more cod.
And then, yeah, there'll be more cod. As long as we keep the Portuguese and the Japanese out of
Maybe
our
with
waters.
your 17 million, billion, excuse me, we could get them back
more
again.
cod. And that was it. And I was very moved by her feeling for these fish. And she felt that for her people. And then I got carried away and I asked her about her husband's body and said, is it true that he was hung or something? I don't know. Or are you going to bring him back from Hawaii? And she got up as if it was over, and then she fluttered.
She killed a lot more cod when you left the room.
and then left the room, and that was the end of it.
Wow, you blew it.
I did blow
You did.
it.
You
But
had
did you not look in her eyes and see birds in an attic?
Oh,
Wow.
there is a thing in somebody's mind, as in maybe OJ, where one half of the brain does not know what the other half is doing. There's a break in the brain. It's not schizophrenia.
Well, no, I think
Or am I covering?
some
Because
people
I'm justifying that I interviewed
no,
her.
You
some
might.
people are just more successful
Yeah, I'm an asshole.
at it. Some people are very successful murderers or killers. Some people just don't get the opportunity to do it to thousands. They have to do it to 2 or 3, so they don't really get off the block.
Damn.
Well, how do they...
Two or three.
Can
Only
I
had
just...
been a better killer.
Happenstance. I mean, people get positions of power and exercise whatever demons
Do you
they
think the
have.
first one is tough and then the rest come easy?
I've no idea. I've never killed anyone.
No, but you must be interested in the nature of evil.
I'm interested in murder. Murder is an interesting thing. It's my ambition, you know, if peace happens in Northern Ireland, to be 90 years old on a stick asking Jerry Adams how many people he's actually killed. Because I know the exact number of mine. And, you know, it is an interesting question. No one ever asks Jerry or Martin McGuinness how many people they've killed.
Like personally?
Yeah, personally.
Their own hand?
Yeah. Do you not think that's an interesting question?
That's a fascinating question.
If I was a
yes.
journalist, I would put that.
Why don't they ask him?
Well, you think he's going to answer?
Well, also Martin McGuinness has this thing he does when he's on television, which is he does the sniper eye. You know, he misses the scope already, and journalists get kind of fucking scared. They go, oh, shit. And you can see him do it, and people freak out. No, I don't know. It's kind of bad form. I remember making a film. I made a documentary about punishment assaults or something like that. And people were really pissed off that I was annoying Jerry Adams. You don't do that. You don't
Annoying
cut
him
off
in what way?
access. I chased him down a corridor shouting something at him in a very squeaky and scared voice because the men around him were very frightening. But it's journalists don't do it. They don't piss off. They can't afford not to
Because
be
they
able
got
to
their eye
interview
on
them
the bigger
next. Yeah,
prize,
they've got to
which is
interview them
peace.
next week. No, it's just access. Access, always access.
Let's talk about somebody who does, dump a bomb. What psychologically is going through their head
that's easy.
that can light the fuse?
That's so easy. People who think they're right are dangerous.
But where do you cross the line? I mean, everybody's
Anyone
a
who
child
think-
at one point.
No, anyone who thinks they're right. I mean, because most people, I mean, I say things and before they leave my lips, I think that's fucking bullshit. I don't even believe
All of us
that.
share this charm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's complete crap.
Now, what is that?
People who think they're right diagnose for you. They think, I know what's good for you. And when you have people who think they're right and people who have no capacity
Some people
for
would call
humor-
that security.
No, that's called danger. That's called fascism.
So you're anti-confidence?
No, confidence is fine. Confidence is an assumption. It's a decision. You decide to be confident. It doesn't mean you have any more belief in what you say or think. But I think most people live in this kind of negotiable space where their worldview is infinitely kind of tangential and conditional. I mean, no one really normal believes they know stuff.
Where does the power start kicking in? Do you know, let's say with Imelda or with someone, there's a rally and somebody cheers and doesn't blow the whistle and say this is madness? I mean, where does it swell? Where does the sickness
Well,
start
the simplest
swelling?
thing to
Until
do-
you can light a bomb and civilians are killed.
The Second World War is a great opportunity for making estimations of what you would do in certain moral situations. And I know for sure that if I'd been in Germany during the Second World War, I would have been a fine young thrusting Oberleutnant in the Wehrmacht. I would have done the deed. I would have.
You would have?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah, absolutely, because that's what people do. I mean, I do have one component of
Wait
myself.
a minute, you wouldn't have born with something that that would say, well, why should I exterminate these? You mean you just go along with the majority?
I do have a treacherous part of myself that is the only hope. I have a treacherous, cowardly, a huge component of myself. I think treachery and cowardliness are very important. I think often traitors and cowards are very good people who don't kill you.
When you were a kid, do you mind me asking you this? He did see a shooting when he was 17 years old.
16.
16.
Yeah, when I was 16, a guy in my class came and shot 17 people
In
my
front of
school.
you?
Right.
Yes. And
Dead.
3 dead.
You were there?
Yes. A guy in my class came to school with guns, and
Wait a minute.
1975.
You didn't spot the guns?
No. And shot it up. And
Somebody you know?
yes, he's my neighbor.
And now asking again, what's the nature of evil?
Well,
What
I
was this
think
guy
the
like?
nature of, for me, the nature of evil is not having empathy for your fellow human being.
And did you
that
feel
to me
that
is
on him?
evil. Well, he was a loner, and the classic loner, and I never knew what a loner was when I was 16 years old. I just thought a loner was a weirdo. And but there were all the things that they talk about now, like he got his head shaved 2 weeks before.
Army fatigues.
Army fatigue. How did you know that?
Because we see it on the movies. The killer lives in a bedsit with newspaper cuttings of everyone and wears army fatigues.
He came to school in army fatigues with a shaved head and a beret and his guns in a duffel bag.
So Taxi Driver was out by then, right?
No, way before, 75. And and the week before I'd come into school, because I was always in trouble, so I'd come into school, I was always having detentions, and I'd come into class, and like after school, and I opened the door, and I found him crying with my teacher, who we have subsequently murdered.
Jesus.
And and then he did a lot of acid, so we had that.
15?
Everybody did acid
Yeah.
then. Yeah, I'd done
It's
acid by
normal.
then.
Right.
And we were very innocent. This is in Canada, and nothing. I'd never seen a gun until that day. And I remember when the shooting happened. I mean, but we were talking earlier about what kids are like and how you talked about your grandmother and the excitement of your grandfather about the Holocaust.
Yeah, my dad.
And what really your father, what registered first was the excitement, and you and the IRA. And I think for me, I remember. I think it's shaped, because what I'm doing now is, as I'm writing it, I'm realizing that it shaped my life, because it was my first experience with fame. And
Well, at what point? Wait a minute. Where, like, can you remember step by step?
Yes?
The guy brings out a gun. You don't feel excitement. You feel what?
No, because I came in, and this is probably why I'm chronically late, because I was late and therefore I survived. Because if I'd been on time, I would have been killed. And
So you're always late?
I'm always late. Yes.
It's a good excuse.
It is it's a good excuse, and I'm probably just making that up so that I can be late the rest of my life. But I remember going to class, and a bunch of people running by me, and I heard pop, 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 and I thought, I never heard a gun before,
They
so
sound so pathetic,
they're
don't
so
they? Yeah.
pathetic.
Not
It's
like the movies.
Not like the movies.
Yeah.
It's like firecrackers.
Sordid and
So
silly.
nothing. And I thought, oh, there's someone setting off firecrackers, and no one spoke. They were just soundlessly screaming like Edvard Munch. And then I was walking. I wasn't actually walking like that, but walking, in case people don't know what walking is. And I remember coming into this. I was at the hallway, and I noticed blood at the end of the hall, and I just went, huh? And I kind of froze. And then I heard pop, pop, pop around the corner. And then I realized that I'd walked into something really stupid, and that I really was in trouble. And then the door opened beside me, and a teacher, Mr. Atkinson, leaned out and said, "Get the fuck in here." And that was the first time I heard a teacher say fuck. He said fuck. And that was what registered first. A teacher said fuck. And then I ran in the class, and everybody in the class was against the wall. And
Why are you running toward it?
that's the thing, Ruby, that's why I'm really, what I have to accept about myself is that I subconsciously knew that I was walking into a shooting, and the part of me wanted to be there.
That's
there was
what people
a
do.
part of me that didn't want to miss it.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm not going to be involved in a mass murder and not be there.
People run toward
I
bombs
thought,
and fires.
exactly.
That's what
Really?
they do.
And that's it. And I thought, and I knew, and I know now, 24 years later, that I knew, and that I didn't care. And I thought, there's no way that I'm going to miss this. And so
That's something to live with.
it is, and now I have to realize that maybe it's a suicidal impulse, or maybe it's the artistic impulse, and maybe they're the same thing.
It's nosiness. Human beings are nosy.
I know, but if I heard fire, I'd be the other way. I know it.
You wouldn't. People run towards.
But you know, I
events.
think it is.
understand that.
They
I
go
think it
towards
might be more than nosiness. I think it might be.
It's event.
I
Something
think it might
happens and
be
it's
more
extraordinary.
of being disturbed. Like I think I was disturbed.
I'd rather
I
not say
think
that.
it was the excitement. It's like we talk about like, yet that day lives in my mind. It's the most exciting day of my life. You know, you tell a story so long that you think it's the truth.
Yeah.
And you know, I've been dining out on this story for years, and here I am on TV for the first time talking about it publicly.
Yeah, and I'm a whore for pulling it out of you.
I know, but
You know
it's
what I
okay.
mean? So maybe I'm running at it too.
But you know, this is our Imelda moment.
Yeah, but that.
And I think to myself, I've always told people that the people that ran by me never said anything, but it's not really true. They actually, I know now that they did tell me, but I ignored it. Someone did say he has a gun and he's shooting, but I tell the story that I never heard anything because I know that it makes me look bad.
It doesn't make you look bad. The first time I saw anything like that happen, I saw a big bomb happened in the city centre in Belfast, and lots of glass, lots of blast.
You
And
ran
I saw
toward it?
No, I saw this guy running towards it, and I thought, oh shit, that's worse than the bomb. The guy's left someone behind. There's someone there. He's got to
Did you run toward it?
No, but he did just to look. He did just
Yeah, but
because it had happened.
you're not that. You didn't run toward it.
I'm a coward. I was too scared. I didn't want to see what had happened. When I was a kid, I saw someone shot, and it was just sordid and depressing. So I didn't want to see it again. It is odd, actually. Violent death is really strange. Actually, the person I saw shot didn't die. I saw a policeman shot. It's just so kind of sordid and low-key.
Low-key.
I saw this
Yeah.
guy shot, this policeman. He was shot. He fell over. It was raining very, very heavily in this place I live. And he started laughing. And I thought, that's weird. And he just kind of laughed. And I was very, very young. And I really expected something more like the movies. And there was a lot of blood. I mean, Jesus. The human body has
And
such
he
a lot.
laughed?
He was laughing hysterically.
As he was lying on the ground.
Yeah, laughing. Bellows of laughter. And that kind of really freaked me out. Because anything that dissociated it from the kind of harmless death of television made it just so much more disturbing. Or the harmless injury of television. And the sordidness, this absolute sordidness of it.
But it's, you know, like we are addicted to, if we're not running toward it, we're watching it. You know, in America and everywhere, can't get enough. The minute you hear the Columbine theme song, everybody switched on. They knew that they got ratings. So, you know, we're all guilty.
Yeah.
Were you jealous of the dead people?
This, you know, that's
You're jealous of the attention?
jealous of the wounded. Not the dead, because I didn't want to be dead, but I was definitely
Being in
jealous
the
of the
hospital
wounded.
room with all the people coming and telling you how great you are. And
Exactly.
I was in this huge pub fight in Scotland, Boxing Day, a huge fight, and I was with
A drunken brawl.
Yeah,
Let's
I was with a
let's name
brawl,
a spade a
drunken
spade.
brawl with
Yeah.
women and men, and there was a huge violence took
Unisex
place.
brawl.
Yeah, unisex brawl. The next day, I was driving home, really hungover in my mother's car, going back to my parents' house, and I was covered, and I'd broken my thumb. And my eye was cut and it was closed up and I was covered in bruises and I think probably my ribs was broken, my cheekbone was broken. I was driving the car over the Forth Road Bridge.
Thinking,
it was really
I'm
early.
dead sexy.
I thought, I am
you're,
so
you're
sexy.
sexy describing it. But you know Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark at the end, when he's got the bandage around his gorgeous chest, and he's cut up and he's bruised, and Karen Allen has got the basin of warm water, and she's like doing this to
See,
his thing.
like Jesus
It's my favorite.
Sorry,
you know what I mean?
Mary
and it's
Magdalene
like,
washing
yeah,
your feet.
washing his feet. Like
With the
that to me
hair.
is the ultimate
Do you not
sexual
think the
image.
hair? Why would you wash someone's
What
feet
am
with
I
your hair?
saying?
Yeah.
What am I saying?
It's okay. It's okay because it's a small country. Few people will see it. You'll get away with it.
But it's true. It's like that to me. It's and you take and
You can go home. I have to live here.
And then you have the blood, and you like rinse it out in the basin, and then you like and then he winces, and his face gets really.
What
is
about
the
actual
bandage across
sex?
the-
I mean, if
across
you
the
find this
chest.
erotic, what about like sex? And
Sex with injury.
Oh, it's
sex-
just
Oh, well, now
better.
we're into crash.
Like some fucking
With a
some
sling.
guy, and he's got his arm on a sling.
Some people don't fuck like that. Some people face each other. I know it's weird.